7 toxic relationship patterns that need to be broken. Now, I know that no one is perfect, everyone is human. Some of us feel like aliens, but we're all in this thing called life together, and we all make mistakes, or we do things that are a bit, that may make someone else feel upset, but we don't even realize it, or maybe we realize what we're doing, but we don't know how to change it. So in this video today, I'm going to be talking about the 7 toxic habits that you can choose to break if you really want to. Now, I've made some notes on my phone just to help me out, and I'll be referring to those. So the first one is criticizing or listening. Do you tend to actually listen to your partner when they're making their point of view known, or do you jump to conclusions while you're listening to them so that you can have your response ready to fire at them when they're done? So that's not really listening. You're really just waiting until they finish talking so that you can criticize them. And sometimes you may not even listen. You may just jump in and interrupt what they're saying because you heard the first part and that wasn't something you liked. So you jump in to point out the problems with their views or whatever they're telling you. Now, if you recognize this behavior in yourself, the solution is to listen. Please just try to listen and give your partner their space to share their opinions with you, because it's so much easier to find a compromise or the best solution when everyone has a chance to voice their opinion and when everyone's ideas have been heard. Because just imagine if you have an idea and you're trying to tell your partner, hey, this is my idea, I think so and so and so, but they just cut you off at the last moment. It's not going to make you feel really good. It's just going to make you feel like your partner doesn't care to hear you out and that your partner really doesn't care about your feelings. So if you do care about your partner, listen to them, hear them out, give them the space to just say whatever it is that they want to say, and make sure you're actually listening and you're paying attention. You're not just letting them speak and your mind is wandering. You're actually paying attention to every single word that comes out of their mouth. And I know that this can be hard for some people, but the more that you do it and the more that you practice it, the easier that it becomes. And if you do think that your partner has a wrong point of view or their point of view really clashes with yours, then you can let them know. That is part of a healthy relationship, to be open and communicative with your partner. But let them know in a way that's not rude or aggressive or abrasive. Just let them know in a very civil and straightforward manner. It really depends on the type of person that you are, but being civil is like the foundation that I would advise anyone to be. If you're a pleasant and sweet, kind of charming person, then you'll mix that in with, the way you're saying it to them. If you're someone who is quite straightforward, you're very black and white, you're quite stern about things, and you're just going to say it in a very straightforward manner, but you're not going to be rude about it, and you're just going to be straight to the point, and you're going to be respectful as well. I think that would be the best approach to telling someone, especially your partner, how you feel about their point of view and how you think it's just, it clashes with yours, or you don't think it's the best thing to move forward. Like, it depends what scenario we're talking about here. But let's just say we were talking about you and your partner discussing a solution to a problem. They have one idea, you have another, and you think they clash. Instead of dismissing their idea completely, you try and find the middle ground, try and find a compromise, and try and meld your ideas together even. And I think that creates the best kind of atmosphere to actually work as a team and to build a real solution, rather than the other person feeling like they're not heard. So moving on to the second toxic relationship habit. This one is called blaming versus supporting. When you're in a situation with your partner and something has gone wrong, do you identify all of their faults and their shortcomings and then blame it on them? Or do you offer support and advice and a listening ear? When things are going wrong for your partner, whether it be their friendships, their work, something to do with their family, anything, if something in their life is going downhill, do you identify all of their issues, all of their problems, all of their faults, all of their shortcomings, and then just blame it on them? Or do you listen to them, give them advice, and really try and support them through whatever it is that they're dealing with? Because yes, everyone has faults, and your partner may have some faults or some flaws, or even things that you personally deem as flaws, but it doesn't mean that they're always the one to blame. Because in the first scenario, where it's a situation that includes both you and your partner and something has gone wrong and you think your partner is to blame, playing the blame game isn't going to sort out anything. It's just going to cause more negativity. And in the second scenario, where your partner is going through something and you think it's their shortcomings and their faults and all of their flaws that caused them to get in that position in the first place, tearing them down isn't going to solve anything either. Because the whole world could be against your partner, and all your partner needs is that person to be there for them and support them through whatever they're going through. Blaming your partner will do no good for the relationship. However, supporting them, giving them a listening ear, a shoulder to cry on, maybe a hug, a cuddle, anything of a supportive nature is going to do more good than just tearing them down completely and saying that they're a piece of crap, they're this, they're that, just pulling on all of their insecurities, on all of their flaws that either you perceive or they perceive. It just honestly will not work. And that is the whole reason why this is a toxic relationship habit. Moving on to number 3. Number 3 is complaining versus encouraging. If your partner is taking on a new challenge, or they're trying to fix something that's broken, or just solve something on their own, do you sit there by their side complaining, telling them they're moving too slow, telling them to hurry up, telling them they're not going to be successful enough? Or do you sit by their side and act like their cheerleader, cheerleading them on, offering them lots of emotional support and lots of words of encouragement to push them further up the line? Because the opposite just does the opposite. The only way to improve your partner's chances of success is to give them space and words of encouragement. Offer any kind of positive enforcement that you can. Because you and your partner are a team, or you're meant to be a team. You're not rivals and you're not against each other, and neither of you should be complaining when the other is trying to do something good. So always offer encouragement when you can. Now, number 4 is very similar to the one that we just talked about. This one is called nagging versus respecting. If you're the kind of person that has a very set way of doing things, or a very set way of looking at the world that is different from your partner's, then don't nag them to change the way they do things, to change the way they see things, to change the way whatever it is that you think they should change. Because everyone is different, and without these differences, the world would be a very boring place if everyone was the same. I'm sure you've heard that quote plenty of times, but it's true. And there are probably a ton of reasons why you're with the person you're with right now. It's not because they have the same viewpoint as you. It's not because they see things exactly in the way that you do. You know, there's going to be a difference somewhere, and you have to respect these differences that exist. And also let yourself off the hook for being the expert or the know-it-all in everything. Because, you know, I get that some of us may be very intelligent and we may want to, you know, enlighten others, show people the right way of how to do things, but the right way does not exist. It's only your way, their way, his way, and her way. There are many different ways to do things, and just because you like the way that you do it and you like the way that you see it, it doesn't mean that you have to make the other person see things in the same way you do or do things in the way that you do. So instead of nagging, just show some respect and acknowledgement for their difference. The 5th toxic relationship habit is threatening versus trusting. For example, if your partner needs to work late, do you threaten them that they better be home by a certain time? Or do you give them a curfew and say that if you're not home by, 8 o'clock, then there are going to be issues, there's going to be consequences, I'm not going to be happy, or this is going to happen, that's going to happen? Or do you even tell them, you better be telling the truth that you're working late? You better not be lying to me. Do you have that kind of attitude when they tell you they're working late, or they're going to have a drink with the ladies, or a drink with the guys, or they're going to do something with a friend? Instead of being threatening or paranoid, learn to trust your partner and the commitment that they made to you, because they are with you for a reason. If they wanted to go out and do things that they shouldn't be doing when they're in a committed monogamous relationship, then they wouldn't be with you. And I know that some relationships, they're not as black and white as that, but if you literally have no reason, and no reason at all, to think that your partner is lying about their plans, or that your partner, if they're not home by a certain time, would get up to something, then you really got to take a step back and do some reevaluation as to why you would think that. Learning to trust your partner's commitment to you and the relationship can really help the relationship be more stable. So the next time your partner says that they're going to be out late, if you get that instant urge to accuse them or to threaten them, try and pull it back in. Just really try and stop yourself and be mindful about what your reaction is going to be, because I'm sure you've heard of don't react, respond, and that applies really well to this. Just respond with something that lets your partner know that you trust them, such as, okay, I'll see you later, or have fun, or I hope you enjoy your time, or I'm gonna miss you while you're away, if that's your style. Whatever you say will be much better than threatening them or being paranoid. So like I said, learn to be a bit more trusting with your partner. The sixth toxic relationship habit is punishing versus accepting. So let's say your partner forgets to pick up groceries on the way home. Do you belittle them or insult them? Instead of belittling them, insulting them, or being rude to them, you can learn to accept that they made a mistake and that they are imperfect, just like you are imperfect. And if you were in their shoes, would you want your partner to be accepting, forgiving, or would you want them to hold it over your head and insult you or belittle you? So the next time your partner forgets to do something or forgets something that is important to you, try to accept it rather than leaning to the side of punishing them via belittlement or insults or in general being rude to them. Because like I said, just picture it if it was the reverse situation. You would want them to accept you for the mistake you made and to forgive you rather than hold it over your head. So the seventh toxic relationship habit is bribing or negotiating. Now, when you want to convince your partner to do something, do you give them an ultimatum? Do you bribe them with promises of giving in to their request later? Or do you try to bribe them with a sexual favor or a monetary favor or anything that becomes a kind of transaction? So you tell your partner, if you do this for me, you're going to get some XYZ tonight. Or if you do this for me, I'm going to buy you da 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 da, and whatever it is that you're thinking of buying them if they do a certain thing for you is something that they really wanted and you said you would get as a gift for them, but now you're switching it up to say that I will only get it if you do this for me. If you don't do this for me, then you're not going to get it. And something like that can be quite horrible, because in a relationship you want your partner to do something out of the kindness of their heart, or because they love you, or because they want to see you happy when you open the present, not because they want you to do something for them that you wouldn't otherwise do, but because you're holding this thing over their head. They're more likely to do it, and that is basically what a bribe is. And healthy relationships don't function well at all when disagreements feel more like payoffs rather than negotiations or back and forth discussions between two adults that eventually come to a mutual agreement. So anytime you feel like you want to bribe your partner or say something along the lines of, if you don't do this, I'm not going to get you that, or if you don't do this, I'm not going to give you this, or you withhold things, or you tell them you're going to do something if they do X, Y, and Z for you, but when it comes down to doing it, you don't even follow through with the bribe, so it's an empty bribe, so to speak. They're both just as bad as each other, a bribe and an empty bribe. To me, it's the same thing. It's not a habit that you want to get into. It's something that if you do this in your relationship, you want to nip it in the bud. Or if it's your partner that's doing this, you want to, call them out on it and nip it in the bud. Because like I said, a healthy adult relationship is one where you talk to each other and you come to a mutual agreement through discussion and you negotiate with each other. So that's all I have for you guys today. Those were the 7 toxic relationship habits, and just as a bit of a recap, I'll just read them out. Criticizing versus listening, blaming versus supporting, complaining versus encouraging, nagging versus respecting, threatening versus trusting, punishing versus accepting, bribing versus negotiation. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video today, and if you did, please give this video a thumbs up. I probably should have said this at the start of the video, but I have a bit of a flu still going on, so that's why my voice is a bit, not the same as it usually is. It's a bit raspy for me today. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed nonetheless, and I hope to see you in my next video.